That's the midlife crisis. Are you there now?
Almost. 42,
almost.
turning 43.
Yeah.
October.
Here actually, it's not only Saturn that acts.
Okay.
It's another planet, Uranus, and Uranus is like the shocker, as the one that brings out of nowhere, like a lightning that strikes you, brings like it's really shock the word. And they combine forces here. So one restricts you, the other one shocks you. It's like you are attacked from many different places. Yeah, they're teaming up on you, exactly.
And it ends at age 45?
This is well, it peaks. It is meant to peak at that age. Yeah. So yeah, again, like this is parallel to puberty. It's like for many people that's second puberty if it doesn't go well, because the problems that we encounter here may push us in that direction. Again, there is a desire to rebel, to put into the test everything, just wanting a new beginning. There is so much like a reevaluation of what happened before and whether it was good for me or bad for me. They call it the crisis of change of life because it's the midpoint of life. It's the middle point of the Uranus cycle, that one of the 84 years that we base our lifetime on today. So that's the middle point. It's like up to that age, everything was growing. Everything was going exponentially up. From now on, everything will go in the other direction. Well, it's a normal process. It's not a bad thing, but it's many people have a very hard time, making peace with this. And it doesn't show, only very small signs start showing about it at 40, 42, but there is an awareness already about that. And there is no way to escape it, unfortunately.
I know. My grandmother still struggles with that. She's almost 90.
It repeats itself one more time, and in that between 60 and 90, maybe your grandmother went again through that. Yeah.
And I ask you, vitality issues. What is that?
It's the body, the changes of the body. Yeah. The metabolism changes, and from that point onwards, that's where it's mostly visible. Fatigue. Yeah. Well, menopause doesn't it's not meant to strike until the next cycle, but with many women, especially, it starts here in this cycle. And even if you're a man, that's why most people go into that repeated puberty here in this midlife crisis, is because they want to prove to themselves that they're still young in the body sense of the world. Like they find a younger lover, that's a typical situation, or they leave their families, or many sorts of things like that, rebellious actions, because you know somebody like that.
Yeah, I told you about him.
Okay.
He's going to. Yeah.
It's just a reaction towards that feeling of getting old, and if the personality hasn't integrated well in the previous cycles, in the previous ages, it starts giving signs of emotional upsets. And these are falling in love, again, like an adolescent, or just seeking to be some sort of redemption, as if you want to literally oppose to the forces of time. But the critical point here is, do I accept them and make the best use of them creatively, or do I fall prey to depression again and to stupid acts and stupid, things that I then in the next ones will need to pay for, because you see how in the next stage you actually. This is really the age of taking responsibility for my life and the actions. So when do things really go bad here in the midlife crisis? And that's especially for men. If you know men, a lot of men in this age,
when they don't take responsibility.
You would well, the thing is, why don't they do? Because all the problems in this age come from immaturity. So we have to eventually mature by 30, but many people don't. They refuse the lessons of one period after another, and there is always a second chance. The cycles always give you a second chance until you are alive, when the next trigger point comes, but then every time the lesson is harder. Because if you didn't write your homework in the first one, now it's a double homework or something like this. So unfortunately, today, something I'm observing mostly in countries like my country, Bulgaria or Spain, but maybe in others as well. Men, yes, men always mature slower than women, age-wise, but it's very typical for them to reach this age still with too strong bonds with the mother, with the family, with the culture, with this, with that, with all of those things which are restricting you under the first cycle of Saturn, the cycle of childhood and participation in the framework of society, and they haven't separated from that, and but they have to, and here is where it really becomes difficult because just what needs to now you have your children to take care of. Now you have the opposite. Your it's not like in puberty you had to separate yourself from the parents and they were pulling you. Now maybe you have an old elderly parent you have to take care of, which is another test. But in general, this is a period of test of human relationships. We want to disappear, run away from home like we did at 14, 15. But this time, maybe the job is not so easy to run away from because not very likely to find another job. Well, not anymore, but generally not very likely. So a bit risky. So what shall I get away from? Marriage, for example. I would get the divorce. Don't want to continue, but there needs to be some sort of a change and change of direction. So, what's the point? The point is you choose your direction, but don't do it destructively. That's I think probably the point here.